Greetings again, adventurers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy II. In the last episode, we ventured into the final area of Kashwan Keep, and we encountered the monster known as the Red Soul, the creature guarding the Eagle Torch that we needed to obtain the Sun Flame. But despite the fact that Maria had fallen to the Red Soul, we managed to get the Eagle Torch, and we also now finally have the Sun Flame, which is very good for us. Step 1 of our master plan of sabotaging the Empire's Dreadnought is underway. The second part of the plan, however, actually involves finding the Dreadnought itself. Now, we do have a pass that enables us to, board the Dreadnought in question, but I'm a little bit suspicious about that, considering the fact that if we talk to any sort of Imperial guards, they might either recognize us or perceive us as rebels and ultimately attack us. We don't want that to happen. There's also the very real possibility that this is an opportunity that has been orchestrated by the Black Knight of Palamecia himself. We'll be encountering him probably very soon. But for now, our main objective here in Kashwan is pretty much done. So now, the only thing we need to do is return all the way back to the rebel headquarters at Altair and report back to Hilda with the good news, and also see how the king is doing. But as you just saw on the map there, it's quite a trek back to the town of Altair. But fortunately, there is actually a somewhat faster route back to Altair that just so happens to be in the vicinity of the Kashwan Kingdom itself. And all we have to do is go all the way down south. Oh, that's its airship being chased by the Dreadnought. That's not a good sign. We need to get back to Altair as quickly as possible. I think that Sid is bitten off more than he can chew there. As we remember, he wasn't particularly impressed by the Palamecian Empire's Dreadnought, but now he's being literally forced to eat his words. I can make it down here without being attacked by monsters. We can head into this area, which is a forest conveniently hidden within a forest. Rather quaint little grassy area around here. Now I know what you're thinking. You're wondering just how can we, first of all, how can we use this place to get back, and what can we find to help us do so? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Doesn't appear to be any treasure over here, or along here, but, oh. You see that appearing at various points in the screen? Yeah. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chocobo Forest, home to that giant yellow bird that is actually quite a fond staple, or not stable, staple of the Final Fantasy series in general. There are a lot of chocobos hiding in the long grass here in the Chocobo Forest, and we actually want to talk with one. Get back here. Nope, he's gone. And yeah, chocobos are rather crafty. See if I can want to try and get inside. Darn it, get back here. Yeah, chocobos are really wily creatures, and again I apologize for the constant emulation glitches that have been plaguing me as of late. And Yeah, I guess the emulation gods aren't going to be too kind to me as of late, which is utterly annoying, but again, there is absolutely nothing I can do about it. And these chocobos are just taunting me now. Oh no, we were able to catch a chocobo. Yeah, this is actually the first instance of chocobos in the Final Fantasy series, as I just mentioned moments earlier. Chocobos are incredibly useful, because much like the airship and the rafts, or the canoe in this case, chocobos are a form of transport. You can actually ride giant chocobos, because they are fairly large. Unfortunately, we can't talk to chocobos about anything. Instead, they'll just squawk in their usual fashion, which is kind of like a walk sound. And much like the airship and the ship at Poft and Paloon, once we capture a chocobo, it will patiently wait here for our arrival. Now the time has finally come to ride a chocobo. Marvelous, isn't it? Listen to that chocobo mambo. Yeah, chocobos are quite handy as transports because not only do they have a decent speed, but when we're riding a chocobo, we don't have to worry about fighting enemies along the way. Now I know that this rendition of the Chocobo Mambo in Final Fantasy II is just the first melody playing over and over again, but this was the NES days. They extended it much later. Now, checking my handy-dandy map and making sure I head straight back to Altair, because we do have no time to waste. The Empire has already attacked Cid's ship. We need to return to base right away. Also note that chocobos can't cross mountains or lakes or oceans in this instance. But they will take us a considerable distance, which will be quite handy. Just making sure that I am heading in the right direction. I don't think they can cross rivers either. But look at that adorable animation there. The chocobo waddling along. Getting a bit closer, but we need to go a little bit further south. And the chocobo can't cross the can't cross the lake. But I think we can we actually go around and get around here? I do not think so. I actually think that we cannot get to Altair while we're on the Chocobo, which is rather unfortunate. So the time has come to say farewell to the Chocobo for the time being. And that Chocobo just ran full speed across the ocean. I guess they can cross oceans. I think we were probably, because there were 4 of us on Chocobos, we were probably too heavy for them. But anyway, we couldn't really use the canoe while we were riding the Chocobo. Now, also note that Maria has slightly higher HP now. Well, slightly higher HP than she did have before, considering the fact that I actually do kind of need her to get quite a HP increase at some point. But I'll do that off screen. But for now, we have more pressing concerns. we need to report back to Hilda and plan our attack. Well, that's interesting. Apparently, this person knows where the warship might be, to the north of Finn, which might be where it was headed. And that's actually not good news. I was planning to head straight into the throne room actually, but I decided to talk to everyone in the main foyer area. But it seems like Hilda was aboard Sid's airship when it was attacked. That does not... To say that doesn't bode well is a grievous understatement. Our leader has actually been kidnapped. And apparently she was intending to meet us at Kashwan. You know, she could have actually joined our party. She could have actually joined us in going to Kashwan. And alas, she instead of being held prisoner by the Empire. It seems like Sid's airship actually managed to do some amount of damage to the Dreadnought. But now we're in a bit of a bind because with Hilda captured, the rebel movement is in complete disarray. Without her leadership, I fear all is lost. That was actually rather somewhat careless of her. Don't worry, Your Highness. We will have to save her at some point. But this is ultimately where things are going to get incredibly tricky at this point, because well, we kind of well, there's no beating around it. We're pretty much reaching the point where we are going to have to do some questing and grinding yet again, because reaching the Dreadnought is easier said than done, because as formidable as the monsters were in Kashwan Keep, things are about to get much worse. The Dreadnought will be heavily guarded by captains, sergeants, and who knows what else the Empire has at their disposal. We are going to need to level up a lot more than we currently are. And I was going to talk to Tobal there, but alright, so Furion's hit percentage is at level 4, evade level 1, magic defense level 2. So his sword and shield skills are, yeah, definitely going to need a lot more work. And, I'll just cycle through everyone else's, yeah. Guy is pretty much going to be our main heavy hitter at this instance, although since Furion has the ancient sword, Curse is going to be definitely a boon to us because of its unique properties. And I don't think Tobal has anything to say about anything after all. That's a real shame. We also haven't heard anything about Paul. in quite a while. He's actually been incognito ever since he rescued the captives back in Senate Caves. That was definitely a while ago. But we're definitely going to have to rest. 125 gil? Sure, I'll spend it. We've actually got quite a considerable amount of gil at our disposal. But now we have the ultimate dilemma, because the time has come to return to Finn yet again. For the second or third time in this instance. Because well, as we just learned, the Dreadnought has been damaged, and so they're repairing it in an area to the north. And since we have a pass, this will pretty much be our one main chance to actually board the airship without too much trouble. Trouble will unfortunately ensue once we're actually on the airship, because the entire, you know, the entire place will be swarming with Palamecian soldiers and troops and everything, and that's going to be incredibly terrible for us. And if we do end up having quite a few encounters during during the rescue attempt that we have to now do in order to save Princess Hilda from, being taken back to Palamecia. And we also have to rescue Sid as well, because he's gotten himself into a lot of bother with his daring raid against the, well, his part in this, in the rebel movement at the moment. The Empire didn't ignore him forever, and, we're going to have to rescue them both. But as I said before, the situation on the airship is going to be a huge step up from our ordeal back at Kashwan Keep. We are going to say that we're going to have to do a considerable amount of level grinding is again a grievous understatement. We are going to have to be prepared for absolutely anything and everything. I might even have to probably try and get to about level 7 or 8 if that's even possible at this point to really get everything up to speed here. I don't really want to over-level myself, and I shall probably get on the map screen. And just got ambushed by a bunch of hornets, but luckily Furion's agility is increased. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to do a lot of improving of our magic, but yeah, that's why I've been doing a lot of use of fire and ice for Maria, because we definitely need to get as many levels as we possibly can. And that's probably actually going to be the end of this particular episode. A little bit shorter, bit of a filler episode, but then again kind of not, because we did actually end up doing something fairly important, which was telling the Rebel headquarters that we now have the Sunflame in our possession, the only means of sabotaging the Dreadnought and possibly destroying it once and for all. And the only thing after that is to try and decide how best to plan an attack against the Palamecian Empire itself, because they are not going to be too happy with their flagship being destroyed. But that will be something in the near future, so in the next episode, once we're decently leveled, I will stage a daring raid against the Dreadnought currently being situated in Finn, and then, we will finally take the fight to the Empire. As always, dear adventurers, until next we meet.